Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Saturday, December 21st, 2019. It's the winter solstice today. Happy solstice. And we know that because of our posting lag, it's probably going to air right around New Year's, so Happy New Year's.
That's true.
And we know that wiser minds above are making a point of that, and they're making a point of how the solstice would be a logical New Year demarcation. Like, why aren't we starting our year the day we start to tip back the other way? And it's a good question.
No, it is.
We know we're on a solar calendar, but why does the solar calendar start at some artificial date that's roughly 10 days after a reasonable date?
Yeah, that's right.
It's odd. Somebody's talking about the limitations of the educational facilities when the Gregorian calendar was established. I like that. What has worked on other planets with this level of astral lawlessness to stop the destruction? The destruction is everywhere. It's like humanity has declared war on nature, and there's no reason for declaring war on nature. Nature is not our big problem. We are our big problem. We need to stop procreating.
That's true.
And we need to stop polluting, and particularly we need to stop polluting with fossil fuels.
That's right.
We've got to stop. We're destroying our planet. What has worked on other planets with this level of fighting God to stop the destruction? This isn't God's planet, friends. Somebody is talking, and might be a guardian angel type, or sometimes Mother Mary talks like this.
That's right.
She's saying this isn't humanity's planet to destroy. This is God's planet, and God has not given humanity authority to destroy it. God has instructed humanity to care for it, and this is the opposite of caring for it. Destroying is opposite of caring.
Yeah, that's right.
And the humanity has already offed more than 50% of all other life and has seized 70% of the non-ice covered land masses and is blasting the seas with sonar, making it impossible for sea life to live peacefully and harmoniously.
That's right.
And that this is completely offensive to divinity, and this is what they're saying right now. And whoever is speaking is going on and on and on and on, kind of like on a rant.
That's right.
What has worked on other planets with this level of fighting God to stop the destruction? We know the feeling of destruction being all around us.
That's true.
We had lived for 35 years in Sarasota, which was a beautiful little fishing village and arts community when we got there, and which was destroyed by development, rampant development, uncontrolled development. And people who go there now still think it's pretty, but they don't know what it looked like before. And
That's right.
There's nothing of what Sarasota actually was that's left.
That's right.
So we moved elsewhere, and it's just chasing us. And
The destruction
is chasing us. It's like a wave, like a tsunami.
That's right.
And it's coming at us now from 3, maybe 4 angles because of that clear land on 140th.
That's right.
So probably it's coming at us from all angles. And we have safe places to sleep, and nobody's knocking down our houses. So just imagine that you are a wild creature, and how it feels when they come knock down the forest where you live, which
That's
is
right.
happening. We see it happening, and we cry and
Yup.
feel like vomiting.
Yeah.
But they're not ripping down our house.
No, that's true.
Our house is still fine.
That's right.
We still can sleep in a safe, comfortable place. We still have easily available food and water. And the forests are being knocked down, and presences live there.
That's right.
who are also God's creatures, same as humanity. Put yourself in God's place. How would you feel about the bully in the sandbox? I would put that bully in timeout if it were me.
Yeah, that's true. I would say you don't get to play in the sandbox for a while.
No, you don't get to play for a long time. Really long time. I would say get out of the sandbox, and it's going to be a long time before you get another chance. Based on our chicken training experience, we'd put them in the white coop, and they would stay in the white coop for a couple days and a couple nights.
Exactly.
They would not get to play in the chicken yard.
Exactly.
What has worked on other planets with this level of fighting God and fighting nature to stop the destruction? What has worked to stop the destruction? All the animals are on edge.
That's right.
All the dogs around here are fighting each other, attacking each other. The cows are bellowing. Yeah, shouting, bellowing. The animals who are being disrupted are trying to find places to live. They're moving in, and raccoons who are already here are fighting the newly arriving raccoons.
Who are fleeing the destruction.
Who are fleeing the destruction. Their homes were knocked down. It's very similar to the Central American refugee crisis.
That's true.
Or the Syrian crisis, or the Yemeni crisis, or any of the many refugee crises playing out on planet Earth right now, the human refugee crises. And the difference is that humanity is the one creating the destruction, and these other species, they don't have anything to do with it.
No, that's true.
What now? What has worked on other planets with this level of destruction to stop the destruction? And we know that there are other planets that have had this level of destruction, and that the destruction is stopped. We can feel it. And also you guys would be saying, there's no other planets. It's never happened.
You guys upstairs.
You guys upstairs. That's what would be happening. So we know that there's precedent.
That's true.
What has worked on other planets with this level of destruction to stop the destruction, and the combination of the destruction that's already in place, and the astral lawlessness, and the fighting God, and so much more, and the lack of instant karma. What now to implement instant karma for the bad tail of the bell curve of karma in such a way as to provide guidance to the masses and balance the bell curve of karma. Like we know you guys can implement instant karma because you're doing it for the best of the best. The less than 2% who have requested instant karma and whose guardian angels have agreed to provide it, there is instant karma being applied, so we know it can be done. And there are humans on planet Earth who are doing such bad things that really it's like their head should burst into flames, and aliens should pop out their abdomen, and
that's true.
They should you just like collapse into a pool of blood and guts. That's what should happen. Like their whole gut should fall out of their body. That's how bad they're being.
And the presence upstairs is saying it. That's not coming from the host lights.
No. No, absolutely not. No. It's coming from this collection of angels and godly presences responsible for planet Earth.
Yeah, that's right.
And they seem to be asking for higher dimensional assistance, saying this is beyond our resources.
Yes.
And come on, we need help. It's like E.T. phone home, and they're saying,
yes, exactly.
Send help. We need help. What has worked on other planets with this level of fighting God to stop the destruction? And it's vogue now to deny there is a God.
Yeah, that's right.
Deny the existence of powers over us. It's very hip and trendy. And
that's true.
Unfortunately, denying reality does not make reality go away.
No.
And that does not render humanity a sympathetic cause by higher vibration presences. They don't want to help ingrates. Thank you for everything you're doing. I really want to thank some microphone switched again. It's kind of like a boots on the ground soul, and they're saying, I want to thank you guys who are trying to help, who are sending in help, not just trying to help, but actually helping. Thank you. What has worked on other planets with this level of fighting God to stop the destruction? What has worked on other planets with this level of denying the existence of powers over us to stop the destruction? What has worked on other planets with this level of ingratitude to stop the destruction? Do you hear anything?
No, I don't. The portal is open.
The portal is open. What has worked on other planets with this level of selfishness to stop the destruction? We think the selfishness is pretty extreme. Somebody asked, how bad is the selfishness? We think it's almost universal. We
That's
think
true.
in North American society it seems to actually have become cool to be selfish.
That's true.
Which is offensive and revolting, and they don't phrase it that way, but they call it being smart.
Yes.
And if you are generous, that is not viewed as being smart.
That's
And
right.
what that is short-sightedness, because it leaves out the well-documented reality of reincarnation, which is actually well-documented. People who argue with it sound like they might maybe argue about the existence of cells.
That's
Or
right.
something like that, because we can't see ourselves either. But it's well documented, as is reincarnation, very
That's
well
true.
documented. So people who argue with it and say they don't believe in it, we think maybe they don't believe in cells either. It's possible. Maybe they don't believe in bacteria. Who knows?
Someone upstairs is talking about this topic of selfishness being cool, and they're talking about something. This one overheard somebody saying sometime recently. They were having a conversation with someone else about New Year's resolutions, and they were using this phrase, self-care.
Oh, I hate
And
that.
it hit our ear, and we thought, that's a weird sounding phrase.
I hate
And then
that.
everything they were saying was so selfish, and we thought, what a tiny definition of who self is.
Mhm.
What a weird definition of what care is, and a weird definition of self.
Mhm. People have become so small in their thinking.
That's what that presence is saying
Mhm.
upstairs.
Mhm. Yep, small in their thinking. Humanity has. And somebody else says, we know all this. We know all this. Can we just cut to the chase and start to implement some strategies that will show the hand of God? Really, we've got to have a bunch of acts of God, very visible, very noticeable,
That's true.
to get humanity's attention. And without that, this is going to unfold in the ugliest possible way at the highest possible expense for all, an expense on all levels.
Yeah, that's
Expense karmically, expense energetically, expense emotionally, expense financially, etc. All these selfish thinkers. I won't miss them, actually. I'm not sure who's speaking, but they say I won't miss the selfish thinkers, and that's probably true. What has worked on other planets with this level of selfishness to stop the destruction?